Hi everyone, welcome to Rustic Morning Studio. I'm Yulia, and today we're going to paint a simple spring card with bright tulips. For this card, I'm using very simple watercolor paper, thick, textured, but without any cutting. All the materials I'm using will be listed in the description below this video. I'd like to show you how to make this card look even more interesting by decorating the edges. I'm using a special ruler to create turn edges. It gives the paper a softer, slightly vintage look. To make the paper easier to tear, I lightly cut the edges with scissors first, then tear them along the ruler. I do this on all sides of the paper. But you can also leave the edges clean or use a regular ruler, that looks beautiful too. And here's our textured little card base. Now we just need to fold it in half. I lightly mark the center first, then use a ruler to gently score the fold line. This makes it much easier to fold watercolor paper without cracking or damaging the surface. Then I carefully fold the card in half and press the crease a little more. And now our card base is ready, so we can move on to the painting the bright tulips. Today I'll be painting with the Woomer watercolor set. To help activate the paints, I like to spray them with water. For this painting, I'm using a size 10 brush. It's a synthetic squirrel. Now let's create a nice border for the card. I'm using masking tape for this, but you can also skip it and simply paint carefully around the edges. We'll start with a beautiful magenta shade. It's a rich raspberry color. And I'm diluting it with water to create a very light transparent wash. Using this color, I begin painting the first tulips. While the paint is still wet, I add a more concentrated color straight from the pen. I lightly adjust the shape of the petals. Don't be afraid to make your tulips different from one another, some larger, some smaller. It makes the composition feel more natural and lovely. You can also drop it a little clean water to help the color spread beautifully. Now let's move on to the second shade, orange yellow. I'm using the same process here, starting with a light transparent layer and gradually adding more saturated color. And if it feels easier for you, you can add the stronger pigment right away while the first layer is still wet. For the third tulip color, I'm using permanent yellow. I paint a few more flowers with it, again starting with a soft transparent wash and building up the intensity little by little. Continue painting tulips in different shapes and sizes. Some of them can even go slightly outside the composition. It actually makes the card look more natural and artistic. And now we need to let everything dry completely. I'll use a hair dryer for that. Once the tulips are completely dry, we can move on to the stems and leaves. For the greenery, I'm using a shade called grass green. It's a beautiful warm green tone. I diluted with water to create a soft transparent wash. I start by painting thin stems for all the tulips, then begin adding the leaves. While the paint is still wet, you can drop in a little clean water to help the color spread beautifully. I only do this on the leaves. If you'd like stronger contrast in some areas, you can also add a more concentrated green. And now we'll try everything completely one more time. Once everything is fully dry, it's very important to wipe any excess paint off the masking tape. Sometimes wet paint can't transfer onto the white border when removing the tape. So first I gently clean the tape and only after that do I carefully remove it. And here's our finished spring tulip card. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to paint a card like this. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.